Part of the reason I will briefly touch on things I thoroughly explore in other videos is because I want to have them in this playlist so I know where to find them. Right now, I can't tell you what video I explore these things in. I'd have to look for it. But after I make this video and put it in my playlist, I will say, I will know in the back of my head, yes, I touch on these things in my Psychiatry is a Fraud 2016 series. Okay, so when you're talking about Erica Huggins, Bunchy Carter, Angela Davis, Fred Hampton, Eldridge Cleaver, Bobby Seale, Bobby Hutton, Huey Newton, and there's a long list. Tupac's mother, Anthony Shakur, and Assata Shakur, and there's a long list of these people. How did they feel when the government was going out of the way to degrade, demoralize, decompose, deconstruct, and perhaps reconstruct, but we're not going to get into that in this video, their group, their movement? How do they feel? And why did the government do it? How did they do it? Now, this video is about the key ingredients of war, the major components of war, the country with the biggest military, the military-industrial complex, the company with the biggest military, the biggest military budget, rather. It's not necessarily that they have the biggest personnel, but it's, because a lot of their personnel are off record, and I don't think you can truly count who they all are, but it's definitely that they have the biggest budget and we are known for our military might. So what makes you think that the country would discontinue psychological warfare? Oh, absolutely. There are still propaganda units, psychological warfare units. Okay, why would they stop using people as guinea pigs? Their enemies as guinea pigs. They use prisoners. They use their own military personnel for experiments. Why would they stop using their enemies and domestic political dissenters as guinea pigs? My argument is there's no reason in the world you should believe that they would. Why would they? Why on earth would they? Did they stop building tanks and planes and new weapons? Why on earth would they stop their psychological terrorism, their satellite terrorism, their technological terror? Why would they stop it? Okay? A lot of you just don't grasp this. They did not stop it, and psychiatry is helping cover up that fact. And this affects us all. How they treat people. I mean, this absolutely has everything to do with how they treat people in more than one way. How they treat people. How you people in charge and your helpers, how you treat people. How you treat people in mental health. How you treat people in general. The lack of compassion and empathy. The lack of care. You call it health care. I mean, how you treat people, how you quote unquote care for people. The lack of love. This has everything to do with that. The underlying cause is philosophical, and it absolutely has to do with a lack of love. Absolutely. If you truly love someone, do you mistreat them? Well, for the most part, you don't, at least. And when you see that you are, you stop. You might get angry and call them names. But when you see that what you're doing is harming them, if you love them, then you stop. So God is love, and to attack God is to attack love. To attack God as an idea, I personally believe. But my argument is whether or not the Bible is true, whether or not the Quran and the Torah, if you attack God if you attack the principles of these things as an idea, and you replace it with indifference, quote unquote, a deeper materialism, capitalism, what happens? You know? We're so busy fighting each other and making new weapons. You know how far we would be along in colonizing other planets, in healthcare, in inventing cures for diseases? You know, we would, as a people, as a human race, we would limit our own families on our own if we could sit there and think, if we weren't being drugged and given sugars in all of our beverages, if our focus wasn't being thrown off, if they weren't causing us to lose focus, we would do these things naturally, out of love. Love for each other, love for the planet, love for the future generations. We would naturally do it. But when you remove the love and you create selfishness and materialism, and women date hypergamously, they date based on material wealth, and I've gone over this in the interview. I have women who agree with me. What happens? We are destroying our future, and psychiatry is helping them do it. They are breaking the Hippocratic oath. Hippocrates. Don't be a hypocrite. Follow your Hippocratic oath. And as a man of principle, I'm supposed to sit here and let them do it. You know? I mean, it's just madness. I'm supposed to let them do it? I'm supposed to make the best of it when I can do something about it? You know, you're acting like we're stranded on the fucking on Mars or the moon, and there's, you know, we got to wait until the you know, next spaceship comes and gets us, and we got to make the best of it. This is not that situation. This is a situation where we can be proactive and assertive and make a change. You know? I mean, I'm sorry that you people can't understand why I'm going to eventually pass the 4,000 mark in my videos. 4,000 videos. Eventually I've made 4,000 videos. I'm sorry that you cannot understand that. Why, you know, a Holocaust plus 1 million every year in sub-Saharan Africa with with communicable diseases alone, not to mention other preventable deaths, is not acceptable, that I can't leave that alone, that every day, and when a year goes by, 6 million people die from communicable diseases alone in sub-Saharan Africa alone. Okay? So, should I let it go? Should I let my people die? Would I not be almost as bad as the people who have much more power than I do, who let them die, or who set the stage for them to die? You know, all you social engineers and social planners, you ought to be so ashamed of yourselves. You built the society that allows millions of people to die, and all these wars and all this horrible stuff as a result. Quit blaming your subjects. You set the stage. You made the game. They say don't hate the player, hate the game. Well, what does it mean to hate the game? It means to hate the people who created and oversee the game, who allow the game to continue. Okay? Okay. And I'm supposed to sit here. No. I'm supposed to go to work 9 to 5 as if millions of people aren't dying. You know, I'm a man of honor. I'm a man of principle. I'm a man of God. And I'm not capable of indifference. I'm not capable of turning a blind eye. I'm not capable of allowing the devil to win without resisting with all my being. Let me show you some of the books that are on my bookcase. Okay, some of the things that are on my bookcase, okay? So, I have Tai Chi, Medal of Honor video game, Tears of the Sun, Dr. Jekyll and Hyde video game, Monster autobiography by an LA gang member, Monster Cody, An Egyptian mythology book. This is on the most important part of my bookcase, were the books that you can see. Once you can't see, Masonic, stellar theology, Masonic astronomy, Robert Hewitt Brown, Jordan Maxwell books, Stitching, and all kinds of conspiracy guys who I don't agree with about everything. These are the books I have on my bookshelf. This is how I'm living. By these things. These are the things I value most. The Quran. Perhaps almost certainly first and foremost, the student Bible. I was given this Bible when I went to Cornerstone Christian School in high school. I've had this Bible for years and years, for 2 decades. Fighting for Honor, T.J. Dush Obi, written by an Igbo. This is not just some random book written by a random. This person who wrote this book, has the same name as one of my brothers. Okay? And he's an Igbo. Fighting for honor. I don't think you people truly understand the type of guy that you're dealing with. This is not some act. This is not some cute game. This is not some trick. I'm not selling you anything. This is war with the oppressor. This is fighting for honor, fighting for principle, fighting for God. So if you think that I'm just going to sit here or go to work or mind my own business, this is my business. My business is fighting for honor. As far as, not my career, not my money-making business, but this is, this involves me. This is my business. This is my problem. Okay? And guess where Nigeria is? It's in sub-Saharan Africa. My people all over the world. I know I'm half black, half white, part Semitic, and there's a lot of things in common, commonalities with Igbo culture, Asian culture, Native American culture. This whole entire world, these are my people. And all you people just, you want to pretend like this is not the case when it is. When I start screaming in my videos, that is who I am. That's not some mental illness. That is who I am. When I tell you that you need to deal with evil directly and effectively, efficiently, proficiently. I'm not kidding around here. Okay? These people know better. They can do better. But they're doing bad instead. Maybe they don't understand fighting for honor. Maybe I have overestimated the world and they don't know what it means to be a man of honor, and I'm speaking Martian to them. I don't know. I strongly don't think that's the case. I think you're all capable of understanding where I'm coming from. Every single race, every single person, even the people who are mentally challenged, developmental disorders and so on. I even believe that they are capable of feeling my spirit, feeling the truth in my words, hearing the truth in my words. Perhaps even people who are on a life support. Perhaps. But I cannot help but think that to think that you don't understand the type of scum that I am talking about. I can't help but think in that. It's a reoccurring thought. I don't think you people truly grasp the type of scum that I'm talking about here. Perhaps you would want to stop everything you're doing. Light up the torches. Load up your weapons. And charge. I'm going to leave it there.
The panther is a solitary animal, solitary hunter. It works for the good of humanity, of the good of its species in a group when it comes to mating or caring for a family, but it also goes out and hunts. So this cannot be forgotten. This cannot be overlooked. You need to know when to act. it also secures its own food. It might put the food up in a tree to keep it from being tampered, keep tampering from going on, and to keep from other animals from sharing the food and giving it disease or taking its food that way. Okay? Right now, I have to consider carefully where I'm going to go for food. I know where they have people already in place to drug me. I have to consider that carefully. And usually what happens is I consider the place carefully, like right now, and then I go, I get the food, and then I'm always preoccupied driving, or I probably shouldn't say this, but texting while I'm driving, or, checking my Facebook while I'm driving. And then, what happens is that it hits me, So I'm not sitting there like, oh my God, is it going to hit me? It hits me afterwards. Remember, their argument on record, CBS News reported about psychiatrists talking to the New York Times and other psychiatrists saying the key to this is that they believe it's happening. So then they think that they're experiencing it. When I consume the food, that's not the case. I wanted to point these things out. Thank you. Oh, and I know my glasses don't match my shirt. I decided that there might be the reason why the poison oak goes down in the line, similar to the way the glasses are. It might be the glasses that I was given for Christmas might have poison oak on them or something. Or they might have gotten the poison oak on them from me touching them or whatever, so I decided to switch it. And I didn't have many options, but I like the way they look even though they don't match. That's the mistake a lot of people make when they don't match. Oh, so one more thing. Women's role in society is important, but it's different. They want things to be fair, quote unquote, which means that women are more in positions of power because, if you look at it from their point of view, they believe, well, the studies show that more women are in higher education than men. So if there's no discrimination at all and everything is completely fair, then women will be in charge, right? So they don't want to address, the differences, the discrepancies with men and women in higher education. They just want to change the job hiring practices, the job market, and so on, in a way that hires the people who are the most qualified for the job. So they are how you slice it. They're trying to create a world where women are in charge and men are either under or subservient to women. So the few feminists who really want things to be equal and fair are drowned out by the masses of feminazis who are like, you go girl, and things like that, trying to give women the upper hand. It's important to note. Thank you.
Of war, the major components of war, the country with the biggest military, the military industrial complex, the company with the biggest military, the biggest military budget, rather. It's not necessarily that they have the biggest personnel, but it's, because a lot of their personnel are off record, and I don't think you can truly count who they all are, but it's definitely that they have the biggest budget and we are known for our military might. So what makes you think that the country would discontinue psychological warfare. Oh, absolutely, there are still propaganda units, psychological warfare units. Okay, why would they stop using people as guinea pigs? Their enemies as guinea pigs. They use prisoners. They use their own military personnel for experiments. Why would they stop using their enemies and domestic Bunchy Carter, Angela Davis, Fred Hampton, Eldridge Cleaver, Bobby Seale, Bobby Hutton, Huey Newton, and there's a long list. Tupac's mother, Anthony Shakur, and Assata Shakur, and there's a long list of these people. You know, how did they feel when the government was going out of the way to degrade, demoralize, decompose, deconstruct, and perhaps reconstruct, but we're not going to get into that in this video, their group, their movement? How do they feel? And why did the government do it? How did they do it? Now, this video is about the key ingredients. Part of the reason I will briefly touch on things I thoroughly explore in other videos is because I want to have them in this playlist so I know where to find them. Right now, I can't tell you what video I explore these things in. I'd have to look for it. But after I make this video and put it in my playlist, I will say, you know, I will know in the back of my head, yes, I touch on these things in my Psychiatry is a Fraud 2016 series. Okay, so when you're talking about Erica Huggins